If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair.
How are you, man?
I'm good, dude. I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink some of the Silicon Slopes flavored
Get some
water.
of that water in you, man.
Tastes like mountain
It's
luxury.
our own branded water.
Tastes like
It's Arrowhead.
pure.
It's just. I'm pretty sure we just put this over
Tastes
it.
like tech money.
What's the latest? What have you been up to?
Man, I've been living the dream. I think the definition of
What's the
living-
dream?
The
Yeah,
dream-
tell me that.
I think it's when you just get to create. I've nailed this down recently, and I try to share that with my son. I have a 3.5-year-old named Taz, little Tasmanian devil, and I tried to tell him that about as good as it gets is creating stuff with your friends,
Yeah.
making cool stuff with cool people. When we were watching the Mario Brothers movie,
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi make a rap video. We're the Mario Brothers, and
Yeah.
plumbing's our game. They start their own plumbing business. Have you seen it? It's so good. You got to show it to you.
Is that like a recent movie?
Yeah,
That just came
yeah.
out?
Illumination, DreamWorks.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, Super Mario Brothers movie. They made a whole feature film out of it. Chris Pratt, Jack Black is Bowser, hilarious. The Peaches song. Have you heard the Peaches? Oh, anyway, it's a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, dude, it's all about chasing the dream, and they start a plumbing business, Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
And they make a commercial, and it's a rap video. It's a commercial of them rapping about, we're the Mario Brothers, and
Yeah.
plumbing's our game. We're not like the others who get all the fame, right? And I leaned over to my son in the theater, and I said, this is what it's all about. Making music videos with your brother, making music videos with your friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like starting a business. And I was like, people laugh at him because all of his Italian family, they make fun of him at the dinner table.
Sure.
That they're never going to be anything. And I leaned over to my son, I said, people will laugh at you. You know what I mean? People will tell you that you can't do it, but Mario and Luigi are the ones who get it. They're the ones having fun and make music videos, make a rap video with your friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's as good as it gets.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
What is your dream? Tell me your dream.
A life of that uninhibited,
Like creative freedom,
creative
building.
freedom. I think,
Interesting.
just at a very early age, I knew I wanted to build something, make something. And I felt like early on it was a lot of having to do with writing, words.
Yeah.
Loved reading growing up.
Yeah.
And
What were you reading?
what was I reading? As much as writing my own stories about robots, and I always swear that I invented the dual-sided lightsaber that Darth Vader has.
That's cool.
I have a drawing in 4th grade of me. I would sit and I would draw with my friends, and I made a lightsaber with 2 ends.
Yeah, what if there's 2 sides?
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So, no, growing up reading, obviously Harry Potter's influential for any millennial.
Oh, yeah.
But I would get into the fantasy fiction. I'd get into the Aragon, the Christopher Paolini. But I would say as I got older and really like focused on writing as a craft and applying that obviously to my music, my rapping, but also just like what do I want to contribute to the world? What do I believe? Books like The Alchemist, Coelho.
Yeah.
All about anything about finding.
Why
your
does The
dreams.
Alchemist resonate with us so much?
Isn't
That's
it
like,
insane?
Yeah, it's like everyone who's ever read it's like, oh man, that book.
I
It
think
resonates.
It's one of the most translated books.
It's a great book.
That's not the Bible.
It's a great book.
I consider it to be the Bible. It's like the Dream Chaser's how-to guide for the galaxy. Go Getter. Have you ever read the Go Getter? It's an old book. Dave Ramsey has it part of his collection, and he reprinted it, which is what I'm glad he did because it allowed a lot more people to check it out. But it's by this old writer named Peter B. Kine, and it's called The Go Getter, and it's about chasing the blue vase. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but essentially the theme throughout the book is what will you do to get that blue vase? And it's all about the guy who's the salesman. He basically just will not take no for an answer, scrappy, perseverant, right? Had a lot of grit. And his boss asked him to go get a blue vase. And it's about how he would never stop until he got it. What is your blue vase, right?
Yeah.
What are you chasing? What are you doing that it doesn't matter what obstacle pops along your way on your demon time journey towards your dreams? Doesn't matter what you got to slip and slide around. What keeps you going?
And you grew up in Utah, right?
I grew up in Utah. Both my parents are from Salt Lake. My parents grew up in Midvale, West Jordan, Murray area. We have a family home in West Jordan. And then when I was a teenager, when I was 17, as soon as I graduated from high school in Southern Utah, my parents moved to Las Vegas. And I went, Ah, what a breath of fresh air. Yeah. This feels right. This pace feels good to me.
Yeah.
I think I had a little bit of a big personality for a lot of people in Utah, especially in Southern Utah, growing up. And I think that led to a, like just being kind of growing up and maturing and trying to gain some perspective and self-awareness, going through therapy. It's been very helpful to be like, I think that created in me a real need to express myself.
Yeah.
Because everything I did already seemed to be too much or different from what people might have been used to. And so I think there's people who let that negativity or murmuring kind of shut them down.
Sure.
And it charges me up. It always has.
Yeah.
It put gas in my fire. It gave me a chip on my shoulder to really want to be like, no, I was meant to like do something. I was meant to create on a high level. Yeah. At the time, I thought I was going to go to the NBA. I grew up with hoop dreams.
That's so cool.
So I was like, I'm going to be a professional basketball player. But then as I went to college, played basketball in college in California, and I got injured, I started to focus back on my writing, my art. Started a writer's circle for at the John Steinbeck Public Library in Salinas, California. Oh, cool. That's where I was going to school and playing basketball. And
Steinbeck's a baller. There's another baller.
Grapes of Wrath.
Oh my gosh.
Man. Yeah, dude. It's his presence was thick there in Salinas. Like it's
really?
It's a agricultural.
Is he from
community.
there?
He's from there.
That? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, John Steinbeck grew up in Salinas, and a lot of his books are set in the lettuce fields, and there's a lot of agriculture, like a lot of like Tyson Farms is in Salinas. So shout out to Salinas. I don't get to talk about it near as often as I'd like to, but I played college basketball out there. So I really got into like, I really went out on the town, honestly. Yeah. There wasn't like much to do for a young college kid in Salinas, California, but it was like, I would ride my bike around. I'd go to the John Steinbeck Public Library and the museum and, just take it. I'd go on long bike rides along the lettuce fields and long runs on the dirt roads. And it's just like a cool area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
sounds beautiful.
Yeah. And I moved from Utah, grew up in Utah, went out and lived in Salinas, California. That's where I played college basketball. And then from there, I grew a love of California, but that took me up to the Bay Area for a little bit. Then I did Scottsdale for a little bit, and now I'm back home in Vegas. So,
what did you major in when you were playing ball and going to school?
I started off wanting to major in journalism because I really liked writing.
That's what I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Did you get a degree in it or did you drop out?
Yeah.
You got your degree.
Well, I have like 180 credits. You only need 120 to get a bachelor's degree because I just took classes that I wanted to. So I don't know how they all fit together.
You're one of those guys who just.
I just wanted to I just went to school and I'm like, it'd be cool to like learn to go to like these 4 classes this
you
semester.
Love to be like taught. Like you love to.
I like consuming things,
That's
but I did
cool.
know like when I went to school, like all I cared about was I wanted to learn how to write.
To write.
I was like, writing, that's going to be important. For some reason, I thought like that's going to be important. I should know how to do that.
Totally. I once spoke with a really really talented CMO of a lot of professional basketball companies and stuff like that, and he was saying if you can communicate, if you can story tell,
such a big deal.
You can get pretty much anywhere in business, in life.
Yeah, that's true.
So I've always taken that with me because I think there's a shrewd amount of marketing that goes into any endeavor, whether you're the most purest altruistic artist there is. The fact remains, if nobody knows you exist, if a tree falls in the woods. And so I've always been someone like, I want to create at a high level and I want it to make a splash. Yeah.
Well, in journalism too, like, there was kind of like this beauty to it. It's like you look at like Hemingway and he's like going to like wars and like writing novels at the same time.
Edgy stuff.
And like, all that like Orwell, his times as a journalist, things like that.
Who's the guy that went on the battlefield? Red Badge of Honor? Red Badge of Courage. Yeah. Guys who really got into the process. Yeah.
And now journalists aren't that at all. It's like,
totally. Gonzo
top
journalism.
10 way. Hunter S. Thompson.
Yes, Hunter S. Thompson. Fascinating. It's cool. I think with social media, we're seeing journalism take an interesting spin because
it's just a different thing.
Yeah, so much internet culture is involved in it, and it's changed. Yeah.
So what'd you do in the Bay Area once you left school?
So when I was going to school in Central California, I would take the Greyhound bus up to San Francisco, and I just fell in love with the city because it's San Francisco.
Such a beautiful
How could
city.
you not fall in love with it, right? So cool.
It's got some challenges right now.
Oh man, that's a
but
whole
it's still
different.
it's a iconic, one of the great American cities.
There's no place like it in the world.
Yeah.
So it was really, I grew a love for it in college. So which is when I met my wife, Sarah. She was born and raised in Las Vegas. We got married in Vegas, moved to Sugar House up here in Salt Lake City.
Yeah,
lived the dream. That's where I met our buddy, Ryan Westwood, my man, the king of Sugar House, the Sultan of Sugar House. He let me stay in his Father of the Bride house. Beautiful house. Good job, Ryan. Custom building was unparalleled.
It is a Father of the Bride house, isn't it?
Hey, I said, dude, this looks like Father Bride house. I feel like I can like really nail down vibes.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is like full on Martin Short, like Father Bride house, Steve Martin. And he goes, that's the kind of the mood board we showed him. Yeah. I stayed there during All-Star Weekend. He let me stay there when I did a little performance here.
Cool.
So that was fun. Anyway, yeah. What was your question?
Just what were you doing?
What was I doing in the Bay Area?
Yeah.
Got married to my wife. We got married, moved to Sugar House, and then we always knew it was the California dream for us.
Yeah.
So when we decided, we were like, do we want to do the LA thing? Do we want to do the Bay Area thing?
Yeah.
And I'd grown such a love during college for the Bay Area that we're like, let's do it. And all of our goals and aspirations were kind of in that new millennial workforce of like social media marketing and digital marketing and influencer marketing. And so we moved to San Francisco and rented a 1-bedroom apartment and lived the dream out there for 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
What were you doing? Just
full-time digital social media marketing, building our platforms on Instagram, YouTube. TikTok wasn't even a thing at this time. I mean, I think now it's crazy. Like a lot of fashion bloggers come out of Utah for some reason. It's like
it's interesting. Huh?
Yeah. So there's like a lot of really big influencers and female fashion bloggers that do really well out of Utah. And my wife and I were kind of like, came up in like a little bit of a second wave of that. There's like the OGs, and then there's like Rach Parcell down in Pink Peonies here in Provo, does amazing things.
She's great.
They're killing it. Her and Drew are killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like OG first wave.
Yeah.
And then my wife, Sarah, and I were kind of like second wave.
Yeah.
And we moved out to San Francisco. And for whatever reason, it was kind of like a special sauce because for whatever reason, there wasn't many like true fashion influencer like couples out there, like people marketing doing in San Francisco. It was such a tech hub, but like it didn't have that vibe. So we grew just a large platform out there. We had a post go viral. I posted a photo with my wife on the beach, and it was, I love my curvy wife. And I talked about all the things I loved about her body. And I also did a tribute to society about how I always think curvier and thicker girls are more attractive. And I shared that on there. And it was kind of a call to society though, not only a tribute to my wife, but a call to society of like, hey, let's open up our ideas about what's sexy here, because all I'm seeing on TV, film, music videos, that's something that I really cared about. I was like, why am I always seeing like the same type of vibes? And so that's something I started doing in my music early on, was featuring women of all sizes, a lot of size diversity, a lot of inclusion in my art, because I'm just inspired by my beautiful wife. And so I posted about that when we were living in San Francisco in 2017, and a picture of us on the beach, and it just, for whatever reason, was like a viral moment. Blew up.
What's it like to go viral?
You'd think it was a good thing, but it's kind of like, it's almost, we always say it's the best thing and the worst thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah.
Because it built us this incredible community of the people who connected with it. And then it also built this wave of negativity of people who reacted negatively to it based off of their perspective or perceptions of the situation. And that's all we're doing online now, which is why it's become so explosive and why it's so dangerous. Is we'll see a video with zero context. We'll see a photo with no context, right? And we'll make a snap judgment about kind of what is going on there, what we perceive the dynamic to be. And that very much was wrapped up in that viral post, that tribute that I just thought was a heartwarming tribute to my wife, like I'd done 10 times before, right? And it just caught steam, and it really seemed to polarize people on the topics of body positivity and feminism and all these things. And it jumped us into a conversation that actually I'm glad it did, because it's helped so many people, and it's been such a positive platform, but it didn't come without its naysayers. For sure.
Yeah. Do you still get positive and negative feedback from that?
I've been canceled twice. They've been trying to take this from us for years. It's been a whole journey of standing on what we've created in the realm of body positivity and really giving a platform to people. You may not agree with how I'm doing it or how we're doing it, but we're doing it. We're putting on for the girls that don't get the looks to be in mainstream music videos. to be in the marketing campaigns, to be featured and highlighted as a romantic love interest or sexy or attractive. And it's created this wave. I call them my Gordita gang. It's my Gordita gang. And they hold me down. So I've been making music and music videos full time now. And pretty much all my visuals, people can always see that representation. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks, man.
How long have you been putting out music and stuff?
5 years full time.
Okay.
But I was the kid, I was in a band with my friends in middle school. I played the guitar and wrote the songs. We had a song called If I Were the President. If I were the president, bam, 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 I'd do a little blues riff. Money would grow on trees. And I'd say, and I could throw $50 away. I wouldn't care. And we thought $50 was a lot at the time. We were in 7th grade. It's so funny. And so I'd make music with my bandmates and I'd write it and I'd play the guitar. And then growing up, going into high school, we got MacBooks in the school library. So I'd go onto GarageBand and that changed everything.
Yeah.
We'd be making beats in there in between class periods or after school. We'd crawl in there and we'd be just recording with our mouth right up to the computer and the built-in microphone and making our own beats. And I did a whole song on a MacBook about Harry Potter raps. And I had a Severus Snape song and a Golden Snitch song. And it was constantly using music as a vehicle for my creativity.
Yeah.
And then when I got into college, same thing. I was lucky enough to make friends with dudes who just wanted to make beats in the dorms, and we would rap, and it was all terrible. And none of that stuff will ever see the light of day. But sometimes I'll listen back to it and laugh because it's on my computer. But yeah, dude, it's just been a journey of figuring out, okay, I always knew I needed to create. I always knew I wanted to build something. So I was going to, after I met my wife, I transferred from my junior college in California. I was playing basketball to UVU. Shout out to all the Wolverines out there.
UVU. That's where I went to school.
You went to UVU?
Yeah,
You're Wolverine.
That's where all those 180 credits live.
Amazing, dude. Yeah. Shout out, dude. What they got going on at UVU is cool.
Oh, it's way cool.
It's like a whole, it's a dope vibe. And so I went to UVU for a year, and there I just, I would rarely go to class. I failed my graphic design class, which is what I was majoring in, because I would just sneak out of class and not sneak out. I just wouldn't go. And I would just go straight to the big library. What's the library called over at UVU? The big glass one. I think they built a new one actually. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a new library.
Yeah, anyway,
there's a new one.
It was the old one. It had, again, MacBooks. It had Cruise in Photoshop and Cruise in Final Cut Pro. And I started to build this creative skill set of content creation that was a mix of I was writing for the UVU Review. I was blogging. I
did that. I wrote for the UVU Review, man.
UVU Review.
Oh yeah,
nice,
of course,
dude.
Man.
I think if you were to Google it, you could probably still find some of my articles on there.
That's
I wonder
sweet.
if you could find some of yours.
I don't know.
Or did yours make it straight to print?
No, I
Were
remember.
You an A1 above the fold type of guy?
No, I have no idea. But I remember I interviewed Orrin Hatch. First time I met Orrin Hatch, I went to
Utah legend, dude.
Yeah, they're like, hey, go interview this senator who I think he was running for re-election or something. And then I also interviewed Mia Love.
Who's Mia Love?
She was a congresswoman.
Oh, that's right.
And I think it was
haven't lived
during
in Utah
her
for a
thing.
decade. So
Yeah, it's funny.
That's amazing, dude. No, UVU was a huge grounds for me to just explore and learn. I still to this day, I spend hours nitpickingly photoshopping my cover art and making my own single art and my own cover art for all my music and all my thumbnails and all my everything is and I learned it all, and editing my content for all my channels, and I learned it all in the UVU library, editing on Final Cut Pro and the Photoshop on there. And just I already knew, I could feel that the classroom setting was not my vibe. Yeah. I just really had a charged up energy, and I really needed to get up and go. And if I already felt like I knew the material or I could learn it another way, I would just be like, okay, anyway. So that's why I failed my class, and it's crazy.
How do you have so much energy?
I don't know, dude.
Where does this come from, man?
Camera one, camera two.
What is that?
We got the charged up battery. Shout out to my guy Tattoo Panda in Miami. He put a battery on me. I think it's nature for sure. Yeah. But I was raised, a common thread that with a lot of people, I'd be interested to talk with you about this, is a lot of people that I respect and really look up to, and really I feel like have a like positive, forward, optimistic momentum in life, which is what I kind of tend to gravitate towards, is because that's how our dads raised us.
Yeah.
So I have a really just profound admiration for my dad, because he's truly just he's just a one of a kind guy who sees just the beauty of life. He once told me, we were eating and I go, Dad, you don't ever want to just like build something. You know what I mean? Like you don't ever want to just like see something, just you know what I mean? Like really build a business or build something, because you're so talented, but he's just been that guy who's sampled life. And he goes, Robbie, I like to sample life a la carte, a la mode. I like to taste a little here. I like to taste a little there. And then I keep it going.
That's great.
It's a beautiful way to describe my dad.
That's a great way to live.
He's an adventurous soul. And he raised us with that optimism of that Willy Wonka energy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard me talk about that with our boy Westwood, but I call Westwood my Wonka brother. Brandon Fugel is a huge Wonka brother of mine too.
Sure.
Shout out, he loves UVU as well. I respect him. My dad raised us on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I've dived into kind of the philosophy and the deep doctrine, if you will, of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And it's become a little bit of a roadmap for me as I navigate life, because I feel like that ability to dream and that ability to see a vision that no one else can see and see it through to the end, despite outside pressure, inside pressure, right? Personal life, but also outside, like to just go and innovate and create and make a priority of ideating and seeing ideas through to the finish. Those are the type of people that I respect the most. People who have once had an idea and they painstakingly, right? They ate crumbs off the floor for years sometimes to put it together to a finished product, just because for no other reason than this is me.
Yeah, they create worlds that didn't exist before them, which is exactly what Willy Wonka did. He just created a world. Dude. It's like, this is the world I want to live in.
Yeah.
I'm just going to create it. It's like the story of Steve Jobs, right?
Yeah,
like, he's
totally.
like, I just want to create this world.
Yeah.
And he's like, he eventually like realized like, oh, you can kind of do anything in this world.
You can, dude. There's no roadmap. This ain't a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
There's no set way to do this thing.
Yeah.
And once you start, taking that pill that brings you on the other side of the matrix, you start to realize your mentality and your vision and your optimism is your superpower.
Yeah.
And it's the key that unlocks everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's right. How's the music career going?
It's going good, dude. Like I said, I've been on Demon Time for 5 years. The music and entertainment industry, if anyone could do it, they would. But it's
no, it's hard. It's like almost impossible. And you're very entrepreneurial. You have to be entrepreneurial.
Yeah, you gotta be.
It's very different. Like, you're more of an entrepreneur than a musician in a lot of ways. Like, you're probably spending a lot of your time on the entrepreneurial side of things.
On a computer, like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. You got to be a dog. That's why a lot of these rappers, a lot of these 50 Cent, Nipsey Hussle, all these guys that really put in the work in the streets in their previous life. We're able to translate that, because there's a dog mentality you got to have when you're working your way up through, because so many people want it and it's so competitive that a lot of people will take any road to get there. And there's just a way. It's just as true as it ever was. How you treat people, you treat the CEO like you treat the janitor. And that's how I was raised. That's what I'm about. And if you lead with positivity, that's going to get you the most wins in life.
Yeah.
And if you lead with anything that's, it's just not worth it. I think when you're immature and young, I feel like I've learned this through therapy and through just getting older. And I'm trying to really try and do that introspection now as I'm a father. I've got twins on the way.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Thank you very
cool.
much. Yeah, thanks. So there's a lot happening that I'm just you just want to get older and be the best version of yourself. If you're not growing, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you're dying. So just doing that introspection of, how do I want to lead? And I want to lead with just a pure, positive, violent, creative zeal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want to bring to the table.
Violent, creative zeal.
That's what I want to bring to the table. And if people walk out of the room and they're like, oh yeah, people can get whatever perspective. I understand there's how this could come across to people, but it's like truly at the end of the day, I just want to do what I want to do in a creative, at the highest level, at the most elite level. And that doesn't need to come at the cost of anybody else. And I'm just I'm so confident that my vision is where it needs to be. And I can see it so clearly that people might not get it at first. And some people find it kind of trying to poke holes in it. And, you know, I think life is just like learning to, that's just background noise. You don't need to fire back. You don't need to internalize any of it because it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. You have a higher vision. This is what we do. We create and we just let it ride.
Isn't it interesting? We spend so much of our lives worried about what other people are thinking about us, how we're being perceived by other people, how other people are taking various decisions that we make or successes or failures that we do. And then you like stop for a second, like, I don't think they're actually thinking about us at all.
Nobody cares. Everybody's everyone's absorbed with what they got going on.
I don't think anybody
out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I remember like I was in a meeting maybe like 2 years ago. And there was this guy who was like, hey, I want to do kind of like some stuff that you've been doing. And I'm sure that you're like super worried about like various things that we're doing. I'm like, well, I don't even. No, go for it. I don't even think about it. I've never even thought about it once.
I've been on demon time over here.
You have my permission to do whatever you want.
Okay, that's
you don't even need it, you know?
It's a good example.
It's interesting that you don't need anyone's permission at all, but we seek it. We seek people's permission. Isn't that interesting? We seek it. It's like, I need your permission before I get going. It's like, you actually don't need my permission at all.
Dude.
It would actually be better if you acted as though you didn't need anyone.
Exactly.
Right?
One of my favorite quotes, I share this whenever I can, is if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair.
That's exactly right.
That's when I look straight into the viewer's eyes. I heard that quote one time, and that's what it's all about. If you sit around waiting for permission, your life is going to pass you by. And like I said, this is not a dress rehearsal. You only get one go at this. So if you can nail down that vision, that thing that really sets your heart on fire, and that's all you need. And then just a commitment to that point on the wall that you will go until something breaks. You will apply pressure daily until something breaks. And that's what I'm built for. That's why I'm charged up. That's why I got this energy. Because cool. I just know I was born to create at the highest level, and I don't even think I fully comprehend knows what that means, because I just wasn't formed in this particular realm, you know? Like I came here with such a vision of what I wanted for my life. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, you're the beautiful vessel that brought me here. And I had to get here somehow. I had to get here to this earth somehow. And I was like, Mom, thank you. So every Mother's Day and every birthday I call, I say, Mom, you're the sacred vessel. I had to get here somehow. I appreciate it. And now I'm off on a creative journey that who knows where to lead us.
How did you start 5 years ago? Like, hey, I'm going to go all in on music. This is my life. I have this vision. We'll see where it goes. But I just know I'm going to hustle it and, bring all my energy to it. What was the first thing you did? How'd you start?
Boom. It all starts with an idea. The light bulb. I just had an idea for a song and a music video. And I was like, I haven't done this since college, and I've never done this professionally. So I was at the point where I was starting from square one, and I was just asking for recommendations. I literally posted on my Instagram stories at the time. I need somebody with a studio. I need a producer. I want to do this right. I have no idea where to begin. But I knew I wanted, I was ready. I was like, top quality, everything. Like, I'm getting in a studio with a producer who makes these beats, and I'm going to get in the booth, and I'm going to write my rap, and I'm going to show them that I could really do this. And just life is just a stepping stones of either stones you push into place or the magic ones that just kind of appear along the way. And that's where the best things happen. So
what was the song?
Chubby Sexy. 2019, I dropped my first single, Chubby Sexy. So I made this body positive anthem. I had this idea to make a song called Chubby Sexy.
Was this after the viral post?
After the viral post.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of already had this platform, this community. And a lot at the time, again, very much alongside with my wife, it was really fun for us to kind of we kind of came up together in this online social media influencer space. And we had this huge community of just curvy and plus size girls around the world that were rocking with us. That's the guy that's down with us, and that's the girl that we can relate to. And it was just like our thing, and it was just really cool to build that community. And so I had this idea to make us. I was like, I'm going to make a summertime anthem, just a bop, just so they can play by the pool, and we're just going to go hard. We're going to have this fun music video. I'm going to hire curvy plus size models, and we're going to have a blast. And I did it. And it took me the better part of I got in the studio. I'll never forget, first day I got in the studio, November of 2018, with my producer, Courtney Ballard, who I've since made every song with. Shout out to him. He's a Vegas boy as well. And he's been amazing for me. So I got in the studio and I made my first song, Chubby Sexy. So I made it I recorded it in November and I dropped it in May of 2019. So, I mean, what's that? 6-7 months. And really just,
so what does drop it mean? You like go on Spotify?
Released it. Oh no, like it's like a whole
Yeah,
thing.
you gotta like explain that.
You gotta have a distributor, like you gotta have a distributor. So if you're a major label music artist, Sony, Interscope, Warner Brothers, Geffen, all those ones, they're the distributor. They have the access channels to distribute your content, to distribute your music, and sometimes music videos to Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Pandora, Deezer, Weezer, Neezer, Peezer, all the things, Shazam, right? All the things. And that's where your music goes out, and then you monetize through those channels. Yeah. That's where you get paid out. So
is Shazam a real one? Is that true?
Shazam is the one where you can listen. You can put it up in the room. Oh, every music artist uses Shazam around the clock. If I'm in a room and in a restaurant, and I hear like I'm at a juice bar and I hear an absolute banger. I was in a Chipotle the other day. I'll pull up my Shazam, listen right now, and it listens to the music, and it tells you exactly what the song is, and it links you to Apple Music. Every artist I know.
I thought you were just making something up. Shazam's like a real thing.
No, the whole Weezer Peezer bit was I was making up. Shazam's a real thing. Yeah. No, Shazam's incredible. A lot of artists I know use it, or producers, because they'll hear a sample or a beat and they'll be like, I want to make something that's in that style, you know?
Okay.
Anyway, so you have to have a distributor. So you're learning it all from the ground up. And you're putting together not just, it's supposed to be just about the art and making music. And that's beautiful and romantic, and I love that. And I'm very much about my art and creativity, but it's like if nobody hears it, then what is it? So
you're building like a startup every song.
You're building a startup. You're putting products, your music and your music videos are your products that are out into the marketplace.
Yeah.
And then you are seeing how they fare.
Yeah.
And when you find a product that seems to be working, i.e. people are listening, sending, sharing, engaging, it's here, it's there. That's when the magic starts to happen. So it's 5 years. And again, it takes these bands. That's why I just love sitting in rooms with producers and other artists. But it's honestly translates to business. That's why I love sitting down with entrepreneurs, business builders, operators, demons, hustlers. They're all the same. It's all the same. It's you. No one taught you how to do it. You just put it together brick by brick, and you're climbing and you're climbing, and you miss the foothold there, and you fall down 2 steps, and then you do it again, and you do that for sometimes a decade before you get that one hit that changes everything.
What's the one that's changed for you so far?
Big Girl Banger.
Yeah?
Big Girl Banger was my hit on TikTok last summer. Summer 2022.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, Yeah, everybody knows. They don't call me the curvy wife guy for no reason. Okay, it's definitely a part of the brand and the platform. We're putting on for the thick goddesses, always, for the queens, Gordita gang. So we're putting on for the thick goddesses. So I teased this snippet of a song I made called Big Girl Banger. It's undeniable. It's got a bass line. It's a big girl banger. Ooh. It's a big girl banger, banger. Stretch marks tattooed on the tan lines. It's a big girl banger. And I dropped that little bass line, and my producer out in Canada makes this beat with his bass line. I do that as the hook, and I drop it on TikTok, and it starts going crazy. People are like, oh, this is catchy. And all the curvy girls on TikTok start posting to it. They're dancing by the pool. They're dancing in front of the mirror. And it becomes this beautiful celebration of body positivity and confidence. And I dropped it, did well. Surpassed 1 million streams on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. People loved it. Thousands of people making videos to it. If you were to hashtag on TikTok, search Big Girl Banger, it's got like 300 million views on there. Like it was the first one that made like a real like Chubby Sexy. I mean, that was my first one. And so it definitely made a splash because it was like, this guy's doing music now.
Yeah.
So you can, read all that garbage online. But it's like, by the time Big Girl Banger dropped, people are like, oh,
yeah,
he may have had one. He may got one. He can really do this. Yeah. And that's when that was a huge moment of like, yeah, I knew I could do this. It took me from 2019 to 2022 of swinging.
For sure.
My wife would even laugh at me. Robbie, you say every time you drop, you think it's going to be the biggest one. Every artist I've ever met thinks that way.
Yeah.
You got to keep taking those shots. I'm sure you felt that way in business. It's just like, if you don't lead with that optimistic energy of like, this next one, this next handshake or this next partnership or this next single or this next beat or this next album is going to be the one. it'd be hard to stay motivated to keep going.
Well, and it eventually is, right?
And it eventually
you keep going
is.
at it,
Yeah.
and it eventually is.
You only got to be right once.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so how have you capitalized off of that?
That's what kind of was like, made everybody pay attention.
Yeah.
So once you kind of get those.
Do you have your own studio, or are you still?
I go to West Hollywood with my producer, Courtney Ballard.
Yeah.
He's born and raised Vegas boy, but he's lived out in LA last decade. And I just will fly to LA. I'll take day trips. So I live in Vegas now, grew up in Utah, moved to Vegas, and I'll just take day trips, Southwest flights all day long to my dreams. I'll take that like little $60, $70 Southwest flight, easy peasy, first row, upgrade $30 to A1 boarding. This is not an ad. And I get out at Burbank Airport. It's a tiny little airport. I take an Uber to West Hollywood. I'm in the studio all day for 12 hours. And then I fly back home to get back to my wife and kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'll make 2 or 3 songs in that time. And then I'll go back and listen to them 1,000 times each. And I'll say, which one is painting colors for a music video? Mm-hmm. When I listen to this one, I can usually just see it all in my head quite clearly. Like this energy and this color palette and these tones are very much coming through in this song. Yeah. And you can see, especially my most recent, from Big Girl Banger to Basic Bro, which I just dropped, this real aggressive energy demon time anthem. It's called Basic Bro. You basic bro, you a basic. People who wear Patagonia vests, we've talked about this. Patagonia vest. No shade to your Patagonia vest, people, but sometimes you might say that it's a little bit basic. Update the wardrobe a little bit, okay? Everyone's wearing them.
I love Patagonia vests, dude.
You gotta shift. Or at least put something like bedazzled, get a glitter Patagonia vest. It's so played out. I'll style you. I'll get you fresh. So you Patagonia vest, it says, you basic bro, you basic bro. Don't ask me where it's from. You wouldn't even know. You basic bro, you a basic bro. It's a real call out. And it was really fun. I got to feature all my past college teammates.
Cool.
From my college in Salinas, and I hadn't seen some of them in 10 years. Yeah. And I flew them all to LA, and they got in this big warehouse, and we just were like throwing alley-oops, and we were just on demon time together. And these were guys we just, we used to live in an apartment, the 4 of us all together, eating DiGiorno pizza out of the oven and playing basketball and just getting killed in practice. So it was fun connecting with all those guys. But you can see each one of those videos has a color palette that comes through in it. And so that's what I've kind of, over the last 5 years, I mean, the music side of it, the entrepreneurial side of it, so big, but just growing and developing as an artist and feeling like making music and music videos and casting. I worked with Ella Halikis, who's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. And she was one of the first curvy girls, like plus size models. She's like size 12, 14 to be on Sports Illustrated, to continue to push those waves like Ashley Graham has, and these incredible women that are like really pushing, like, every body type is beautiful. Every body type is sexy. And let's start to open up these classics. Even Playboy has started to like really open up what they feature and showcase. And I think there's real societal, like cultural relevance in things like that, publications like that, media like that, representing all different types of people. And it goes beyond just the curvy and plus size body positivity movement. It goes to representation in film. And I think we're just seeing like huge strides for that. And I'm always with it.
Yeah. Why does representation matter to you? A Utah boy, white boy coming in the rap game. Isn't that interesting?
I don't know. I think where does
that come
honestly,
from?
It's probably like the spirit of rebellion in me. I think I love to put on where people are kind of like, I think it's that kind of that dog chip on my shoulder too. Yeah. It's like, I love to like be like, no, we're here, we're here, we're doing this. Yeah. And so just honestly, like that's an energy. That's like an energy. That's a stick it to the man energy I've had. Oh yeah. I got stick it to the maniosis. Okay. And it's terminal to quote the great Jack Black in School of Rock. I got a case of stick it to the maniosis and it's terminal. And so I think I just connect with other people like that. And so again, being able to make those waves in like the body positive world online, again, a lot of people,
who hates on that? I don't get the haters.
A lot of people, it's different. It's honestly like people will hate on it in general because they'll be like, don't promote. They'll tell, this is the pushback that a lot of women like my wife, like Ella Halikis, who I was talking about, Ashley Graham, these incredible women who are making huge strides in the body positive movement, and there's incredible women here in Utah doing it. Our friend Carnations in Lace. She's a blogger here. We were talking about Rach Parcell and Chriselle of Carnations in Lace. She's a body positive fashion blogger. Jessica Janae, she was just in my most recent music video that I filmed at the Edison House in downtown Salt Lake City. I want to have fun. So shout out to Salt Lake City. And there are all these body positive women that are just pushing the envelope of like, I'm here and I'm taking up space because I think these women have felt the need to hide because they don't find that they fit into the cultural like expectation or norm. Yeah. And again, that goes for body confidence. And I think people seeing a white male like kind of become a part of that movement and lend my voice to it, it's been interesting for a lot of people. And they take it in all different ways. But everybody who's ever met me or worked with me knows it's because that is truly the definition of beauty and inspiration for me. Yeah. The curvy muse is something that will always be in my art. And no matter what I create, I find myself kind of gravitating towards that. Yeah. It's cool.
What's it like to put together a music video? What is that whole process like?
You know, they say on film sets, like, it's just like, hurry up and wait. So that's just how it goes. I'm sure you've felt that. You've been in.
Do you do them yourself? Do you produce them yourself?
Everything through Desert Money. That's my media production company.
That's your media company?
Desert Money. Oh yeah, I'm repping Desert Money. So Desert Money is like my conglomerate. Yeah. It's like my
it's the holding company.
It's like my music and that's what I release all my music under. That's what I release all my music videos. So Desert Money's the wave. Proud headquarters in Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out to Scottsdale. Shout out to Palm Springs. Shout out to the Utah desert. It's just always Desert Money. Yeah. I just want to get Desert Money. I just want to make as much money as I can being creative so that nobody limits what I'm trying to do. Yeah. He who has the gold makes the rules. And once you can get enough of a platform and enough resources behind your productions, who knows where we can take this thing, dude?
Yeah, I was talking to an artist. You might know him, Alex Boyer. Do you know Alex Boyer?
Alex Boyer. Legend, dude.
Unbelievable
Voice
energy.
of an African god.
Yeah, dude. He's incredible.
Shout out to Alex Boyer.
Anyway, I was talking to him.
A stirring rendition of The Lion King, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. His city used to be around the house growing up. Yeah. Shout out to Alex Boyer.
He's incredible. Yeah,
he's the man. Yeah, he's the man.
Incredible dude. And
didn't he
his
do
energy
The Lion
and
King
overall positivity, probably. He's done everything.
Those theater voices are different. Yeah. He's an instrument to the
He was telling me like there's like a whole process that each music video you need to hit like some certain goals, the casting, like all this type of stuff. And like he had it like worked out to like a science, like these music videos that he would put out. Is that kind of where you're at now?
Project
where it's just
management to the nth degree.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Death by, what do they say? Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Yeah. It's all in the details. And that's when you start to get that. And this is what I love is getting into the production of these projects. And so usually it comes in the form of like an idea for a song, and then I'll make the song. And then again, it kind of manifests itself. And then I'll just start to put it together. Like I think just starting on something, on a project is what like stops most people. The hardest part of starting is just doing it. Yeah. And so I've always tried to overcome that by literally, it's just like, as soon as I have the idea, like what separates me from the animals? Yeah. I move on that idea. Like I do something. I start sending texts and emails and making calls, right? Yeah. And I think that's how you got to be. And so that's what I'll do. And it truly is. That's when the production side of it really comes in, and it's all the devil's in the details. Yeah. That's why award-winning music videos, but also just films and television shows, it's because they've hired the best set designer to make the best lace, detailed crochet on the tablecloth that perfectly matches with the perfectly off-white cream-colored dress of the maiden. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just like all those tablescapes are richly set with fruit, and it's not wax, and it's real, and it's cheeses, and it's grapes, and the actors are incredible, and you get the best out of everybody on one creative project. And that's why those types of productions run up the budget, and that's the difference. Yeah. So that's when I say to people, I want to get as much money behind me and about what I'm doing as possible. It's because I want to create something truly how I see it in my mind's eye. Yeah. And I think I have a viewpoint and a perspective that I want to bring to life. And so, it's the music video production process is just like, you got to make sure, and I've done it everything from, I've got my girl, Alexandria, on the Desert Money team, Alex Bowie out in Phoenix. Shout out to you. Curvy Goddess, captain of the Gordita gang. We're doing it. She is like my right hand at my most recent music video shoots. And she'll help me with everything. She's prepping the models. She's making sure they're all good. She's pressing play on the music. She's making sure the BTS videographer is doing it while I'm performing, I'm rapping, right? But I've done the music videos where I'm running over to the iPod to press play on the Bluetooth speaker. And then I'm grabbing the director in front of the videographer and I'm setting up the shot. And then I'm running in front of the model and then I'm grabbing the model and saying, hey, okay, just vibe out, be confident, let your hair down. You look amazing. Let's do it. And I've styled that model and I've done the hair and makeup look and I've sent the mood boards out to everybody. And then I say, let's do this. And then we film, and I do that all day long. And then I sent back 1,000 lists. My videographer, Rhett Lewis, Atomic City, he's based here in Utah as well. He makes all my videos, my music videos. And I sent him back a list of 1,000 edits on these videos. And we just crank them out. And by the time I'm done with them, I'm just proud.
Yeah.
I'm just proud, dude.
Yeah,
because I took an idea.
You created something out of nothing.
Again,
you created a world.
That's what it's all about. And then however people want to take it and perceive it, I put it out. And I'm fortunate to have a community, my Gordita gang, that I can post it and they can do whatever they will with it. And it's just like gratifying when you're like, oh, I just heard your song on the radio in Phoenix. Yeah. Shout out to my boy, John J. Van Ness out in Phoenix. Oh, I just heard, my friend played the song for me on a road trip and we were dancing to Chubby Sexy all, you know what I mean? I heard it at the pool at a hotel and all these, women in their 50s wearing their swimsuits listening to Chubby Sexy. Stuff like that, dude, it never gets old. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah.
You keep saying, what is it, Gordita gang?
Gordita is the Spanish word for like cute little chubby cutie.
Oh, I see.
Like a little dime piece cutie, round, plump, just cutie pie. Shout out to my Gordita gang. I love all my Gorditas. Just beautiful plus size goddesses.
When you said, you want to get as much money around you as possible, are you raising money per video? How do you deal with what's the financial side of this world like? I have no idea.
It's all independent. I'm doing is all independent. What I'm doing is so, I once reached out to a really well-respected A&R executive in the music industry. And he's a cool dude. Like, no shade at him, but he was like, what you're doing is a little bit too niche for me. Like, and I think at the time I was like, I took it as another like fuel to the fire. Like I'm gonna show him, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do it on Demon Time. And but now as I kind of look back on it, I'm like, I've been making music for 5 years. Like again, a lot of the people that I know, like they've been doing this for 10, 20. Like, so I'm still like making my way. But I was like, yeah, it is too niche, which is why you don't go to the major labels. And that's why I've committed to remaining independent. So yeah, I have Desert Money Media is an independent business that I'm funding my own creative endeavors because I truly believe that I can take it to that next level and create at a highly elite level. So it's just a matter of time before I get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you look at in the industry, in the music industry, who's done it like
Kanye
really
West,
well?
Yeezy.
Kanye?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As controversial as he is, I will always be an admirer of someone with an just unmitigated creative vision, unparalleled creative vision and energy behind that vision.
Yeah.
Whatever else people can take as they wish, but as a creator, because I respect like creatives, Pharrell Williams is another one. Someone who's really just consistently showed a propensity for creativity and vibes and just creating and taste making, and that's where I'm headed.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm put here to do is like I just have something to say. I have something to create.
Yeah.
I have a perspective. I have a viewpoint, and I have a creative vision. And I'm day by day putting in the work that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. There's a lot of BS, on both sides of it that just like to get to that point where you're creating at that level, you've got to really have been through it and eaten the crumbs off the floor. And we all do it in our own ways, and we all start at different starting points. Yeah. But I know that I'm getting there.
Is what was Kanye's album? Was it High School Dropout?
Yeah, that
was a game changing.
College Dropout.
Yeah.
Late registration, graduation. So my producer Andrew Dawson, who I just worked on my latest single, "I Want to Have Fun," filmed here in Salt Lake City at the Edison House, the music video. He produced all of Kanye's albums. So it's been full circle moment for me to work with somebody that's had such a huge hand in works of art and albums that, I mean, I was 8th grade listening to Late Registration in my CD Walkman, you know, running on the track. Like it was like, it's foundational to who I am as an artist.
Yeah.
And so I look at that, but then I look at guys that are just like making waves. You know what I mean? Dudes like Mr. Beast, dudes like Jake Paul. Like I look at that as more of a modern day example of like, these are dudes that just figured it out.
Yeah.
They figured out the marketing and business aspect of it, but stayed true to a creation of content, music, videos, whatever you want to call it, that resonates with people. And I think that's just what I want, dude.
Mr. Beast is a scientist. That guy has figured it out.
He's a mad scientist out in North Carolina. I know.
It's wild.
I would love to sit down with him. He's one of those people that I would be like, if they were like, you could have dinner with 5 people living, he might be one of them, because he seemed to have really automated this whole, like he seemed to have cracked the code.
Yeah, he figured something out.
And that's kind of what I tried to do, is like, you know, I'm definitely not like a born and bred singer songwriter music guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like a weird little violent glitch on the Matrix chasing his dreams with a absolutely unreal, almost like, unicorn-esque rainbow fury. You know what I mean? It's been a crazy ride for sure. But we all get a free trip around the sun. Yeah. And you know, that's what I'm out here doing, dude.
Why is Vegas so important to you?
I got more Vegas pride, camera one. Can you see this? Than anybody you've ever met who was actually born in Vegas. I was born in Utah. I consider my life to be in Utah chapter 1, Vegas chapter 2. And Vegas is like, I would say like, you know, like half was my experiences growing up, being a child, being raised here in Utah. So I have such a connection to, you know, my family still lives up here. Such a connection to the vibe. I mean, I told Westwood as we were walking up here, I was like, this old wooden church building, like, you don't get that anywhere else. Like after living outside of Utah for so long, you start to be like, oh, there's just a warm energy here. Yeah. It's clean. We were driving through Draper on the way over here, and I was like, are the streets paved with gold? Like there's not a stray, like everything's white, clean. There's no litter anywhere. Like people are walking, it's tree-lined streets. And I think I just forgot. I was like, Utah's dope. And obviously like Silicon Slopes, there's a whole new chapter of Utah happening. Yeah. And it's trickled down into like just the NBA culture here. Like I love basketball, so of course I'm like tapped into that. But the tech and the software, the companies that have come out of here, what you guys are doing here, has changed the culture, I would say, single-handedly. Yeah, interesting. It's dope to come back through here after doing my thing in Vegas and LA and Scottsdale and sometimes Miami, and then I come back to Utah for not being here for, you know, shy of a decade, and I'm like, there's a vibe here now. Yeah. People are doing it. There was always a vibe here, but it was so, you know, it's just cool that like Utah's starting to come to play on like the world, like the world stage, or the country stage, I should say. Yeah. Like it's doing big things in tech. It's doing big things in sports, stuff that I like am into and care about. So it's like been really fun to like tap back in out here, which is why it's such a pleasure to like come and chat with you here. Yeah, dude. It's cool, man. It's good to have you. What's next for you? What are you going to, I mean, what do you do? What's next? What does a day look like for you? Like, what's an average day? What time do you wake up? Oh, I mean, I got a little man who's an early riser. Like you feel the energy, that Tripp energy. I channeled it right into our 3.5-year-old toddler, and his name's Taz too. That's what's crazy. So he's busy as it gets, man. He wakes up at 5, so we wake up at 5, and sometimes my wife wakes up. A lot of time my wife does. Sometimes I wake up, but I mean, we're going by 5:36, and then it's just like once I got the Desert Money compound and the Desert Money World headquarters to myself, and I get in my office and I lock in, it's a lot of just like music business stuff. It's just a lot of coordination, project management. Again, I'm independent. I really pride like myself on being a creator and an operator and an entrepreneur. So there's not much that I like to pass off, because again, it's all in the details. Devil's in the details. Yeah. So when I want this, I remember talking with one of my buddies in San Francisco who's a producer at YouTube and a lot of like their really dope original content. And he told me on something I'll never forget. And he's like, being on these big, like large scale, and he'd done it all. He'd been at Lucasfilm. He'd been on large film sets with Clint Eastwood and Tarantino. And so Shout out to my guy Johnny. And so I was listening to him talk, and we had a lunch this one time in San Francisco, and he was like, you can get to the end of a project and nobody knows that they just made a bad movie. Nobody knows that they just made a bad TV show. Why? Because there's so many different parts, right? And so for a director, I listen to a lot of like film interviews and podcasts with actors and directors because I'm so interested in it. And it's like, they're like, it's truly your thing. Like, it's your vision. At the end of the day, the actors are going to do what they're going to do, and they're as great as they are to bring a performance home. But it's like, it's the director's vision, because they're the ones seeing it through the lens, shooting it, and then editing it on the cutting room floor with the editor and, of course, with their team. So I like to have my hand on a little bit of everything. So it's a lot of just coordination, phone calls, emails, on a computer, making sure it's so much digital marketing, of course, in this digital streaming era. It's just all about Spotify, Apple Music.
How much of your day are you recording?
I fly to LA a few times a month.
No, I'm talking like with your phone, like TikTok
like making
videos,
content and filming.
making content and things like that.
Constantly.
Really?
To my wife's chagrin, constantly on my phone. I mean, you gotta be. It's just like for what I want to do in this era. Again, there's like the internet and social media made all this possible. It's allowed me to get to where I am, and it's what I want to do. It's the world's stage. The internet is. So using social media has always been a huge part of me, just using my experience and skills in digital marketing, social media marketing, blogging. I'm an OG blogger, social media director, manager, blogging, content creator, influencer guy who realized I can create up there with the best of them. And I've always known it. So let's get it. I'm starting my journey. Started it in the music and entertainment vibes like 5 years ago. And I'm right in the middle of that. You know, if you were to call it a decade of, that's how I see it. Like, to me, this is a 10-year plan. You know what I mean? Let's see where we can get in the next 5 years, because this is how far we've gotten the last 5 years. So I'm never going to stop keeping my foot on the gas. And lots of big projects coming up, a lot of dope partnerships. Once you start making waves in music and online, you start to get really lucky, but also you just worked hard to get in cool rooms with really cool people who want to make stuff with you. So that's what I'm doing. I just recently worked with Andrew Dawson. We're already talking about our second single, and he's out in Scottsdale. I'm going to fly to Scottsdale, get in the studio with him. And that's someone who's crafted 5 or 6 or 7 of Kanye West's best albums. You know what I mean? And so being able to get in the studio with him, get in the studio with my producer, Courtney Ballard, who's just worked on incredible stuff, doing really amazing stuff right now, and shooting music videos with just really cool people. I just did a feature with Black Boy JB, huge Memphis rapper that is known for his song with Drake, Look Alive. So I'm just like working on a lot of cool stuff with people that I really like and friends with, and I like, and it's just a good vibe. If you can keep that positive energy going into creative projects, people feel it. So that's what I'd like to bring. You know what I mean? I just like to bring all the best people I know together, and I'm like, let's just make something dope and put it out there. Let's see what happens.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. I love your energy. Your energy is like contagious. I remember where did we meet? At the Hall of Fame?
We met at Silicon Valley Awards Hall of Fame. You looked amazing on stage. It was the event looked gorgeous. Yeah, you killed it.
I was like, who's this guy? This guy's incredible.
Dude, this was one of the things that got me into being like, Utah's lit. Like, Utah's dope. Like, what you're doing with Silicon Slopes and the people that you're bringing here, and what just Utah has done in the tech community, and how it's just become this like, I talk about it a lot. I talk about it a lot when I'm in Vegas. I talk about it a lot when I'm in LA, because, like, there's just an amazing group of entrepreneurs here that I really like lean on for mentorship and guidance. And it's just been really cool to see Utah, like, Silicon Slopes,
up,
dude.
Man.
You're doing it, bro.
Blowing it up.
You did it.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Nice, bro. You're the man.